So I suppose I'd better explain yet again why I've been absent for so long. I suspect some people who know about the weather in the north recently have probably guessed. This isn't a case of poor old me, this is an explanation. And also, it's certainly not poor old me when, what we've had is nothing compared with what America and the Philippines have been getting in the last few days. But it's one of those things where it's another one where the domino effect kicks in, and you just find one thing after another is getting in the way of your leisure time. Let's put it that way. Let's keep it simple. So this is what's been going on. Well, I've been away for a bit again. First of all, the whole family caught a bug, a rather nice one. Rather nasty one. RS something, not COVID, Royal Society something or other, and that laid us low for about 2.5 weeks. That was horrible. We know someone whose uncle is in hospital with it, so we got away there. And no sooner was that over and done with than we got to take the cars in. One had some bits and pieces clattering, the other one needed an MOT, so we did a turnaround. On a Thursday, dropped the MOT one in. On a Friday, picked that one up and dropped the other one in. And on the Friday night, we had a tremendous storm just up the road, only a couple of miles away. The highest wind speeds recorded in the country for that storm, 95 miles an hour. Our house was shaking. And so you get this kind of thing. Now, this is small scale. I'm just here because I like that view, really. And I was having a look. That's gone over. And then, that's gone over. And we'll take a look at some of the other interesting bits and pieces, because this has now taken up my time clearing up. Our house is okay, a couple of slates gone, a couple of other bits and pieces, but it's all time consuming clearing up the debris that's come from other people's houses, barns and so on, and we haven't got anywhere near us for about 2 miles, so stuff's been blowing in a long way. Branches all over the show and all like that. Anyway, I don't think we can see this well from here. I will have a look at this view from a different angle. This is just at the bottom of the valley, and there was a little wood, and it was getting, you can see there, it was getting chopped. But they've stopped. That's all they wanted. They've started taking the logs away and stuff, but all the other trees obviously were a bit dependent on them, on the ones that have gone, or on each other. And look, there's a whole bunch of them lying down. And it goes to show how tricky the wind can be, because they're lying down in the opposite direction to the wind direction. So the wind's obviously blowing down this valley and causing havoc in every manner possible. And then just along our hedgerow, there we go. This will give you an idea of what we're tidying up. This isn't on our track, but it's easier to get a good shot of. There we go, sheep lying around. Almost every thorn bush has gone over, and in different directions. Amazing, isn't it? So that's what I'll be doing for the next few days. It might be a while before we get anything else. And then of course there's the water that comes with it. I'm surprised we haven't had a flood warning for the main river around here. But there we are, and then it's frozen over. So we've had lots of fun. We've been without power for over 36 hours, which means we're rather chilly. Thankfully we've got an open fire. I know they're not popular these days, but if we're going to have funny weather, we're going to need to keep ourselves warm, aren't we? So open fire, everything else not operational. We haven't got gas up here. And then everything just for miles is without power. On Saturday there were 550,000 properties without power, and everything's frozen over, and some of the power operates the water pumps, so the water pressure's going down in the house. How about that? Phone signal's gone completely because backup batteries have gone on the the phone masts and stuff, and so we are completely isolated. It's rather nice in many respects, but a bit cold, and there's a lot of work ahead. And from the upstairs you can see a sheep in amongst all the branches, twigs. There's a load of this twiggy stuff that was all blowing against the house. Thought we were going to lose a couple of windows. Just survived. Those old bits of tree are old. They fell down about 10 years ago and got chopped up by the neighbour, and I don't know what he was up to. We don't live here now, but did a good job. I think he's getting firewood. Anyway, then we have other twiggy bits, and then it gets a bit bigger. This stuff was flying around. It wasn't just dropping. Hello, mate. So yeah, it was a bit hairy at times. But just take a look at what else. This is typical. This is what you find all around this area at the moment. Half trees and whole trees coming down. You might just be able to see the limb there. That's the far end of it. So as it drops into the ground, it is pretty much half that tree has come off. So that gives you a good idea. And then out on the tops, might just see it. Are we going to see it? Yeah, hang on. Is it going to show up? Not very well. Snow. A couple of days passed. We'll carry on looking at trees. A couple of days passed, and still no power. And odd things started to happen because everybody's out of touch. Community groups started to form, which is wonderful. Things like people with fish and chip vans and burger vans and stuff started coming into the area, and at first sort of, just standard stuff. You can buy things off them. That's a big one gone down, isn't it? Huge thing. And then they started sort of giving stuff away to local people, and then community groups started forming in church halls and stuff like that, and sharing food and doing kind of soup kitchen effect, which was brilliant because this really did start to linger. But there were people who've had their sort of standard heating removed and heat pumps put in, and the pumps rely on electricity, so they didn't work. Thank goodness we've got an open fire. I know that makes certain young activists weep, but you've got to keep warm at times like this, and having a plan B is always handy. Look at these trees. This is in a wood near Brinkburn, where there's an old abbey run by English Heritage, and this is a good sized wood, and I should think a third of the trees have gone over. This is just a handful of them, and they've all tipped. If they tipped in the other direction, that road would have been closed for days. It was anyway. Well, it's closed for a while, but it has its own problems. Bits of it keep sliding into the river, and now we've got trees all over the show. This is just a portion. There's a bend you'll see on the road in a moment. You go round that bend, there was twice as many trees as this gone down. This is what it's like all over the place. It's very interesting that the trees took the brunt of it, and they seem to have protected other stuff like buildings. As long as they didn't come down on the building, then there was protection. The trees really did soak up all of the horrible gale, and there's just a moment of peace and calm. It's very interesting skies we've been having lately. Very uncompromising and unfriendly looking things. So it kept being taxing. And then, over time, well, things didn't get any better. We were without power for over 8 days. This is up at Etal now, a week or so after all, well, in fact 2 weeks after that. And they've got a fabulous castle there. We'll see a little bit of it in a second. But yeah, we were without power, and therefore everything else, for just over 8 days. Other people were without power for over a fortnight. So these little communal things that were pulling together really started to pay off. And the guys working to get power back and restoring phone cables and so on had a major job. And they were out in all weathers. They did a really good job, it has to be said. No credit to the to things like the power and the communication companies, because they make billions. So I don't feel sorry for the companies, but I feel sorry for each individual who was out there absolutely hammering away to get us back into place. So well done them. But as I said at the beginning, this just doesn't compare with what is happening in other parts of the world. This kind of puts it in perspective, doesn't it? Here we are in funny old civilised old Britain, and everything switches off at the blink of an eye. What it's like elsewhere, that's been absolutely flattened, is unbelievable. So my sympathies go out to folks around the world right now. So I had to do all the grown-up stuff after the 8 days were up, and it's only around about now that I feel like I can come back to having fun. So thank you for watching and staying with me, and we might do something more interesting soon. So yeah, I think we got away lightly.